Hi friends, welcome to Learning Telugu. First of all, I am glad that you choose to learn Telugu and stop here. I assure you, you will find great time learning here and you will learn Telugu in the most systematic and simplest way possible. So, in our very first class, of what I call it as demo class, we are going to discuss about pronouns. But what do we call pronouns in Telugu? Does anyone know? But if you clearly observe, the answer is right in front of you on your screen. Yes, the heading itself is the answer. We call pronouns as సర్వనామాలు in Telugu. What do we call? సర్వనామాలు. Fair enough. Now that we know how to call pronouns in Telugu, let us also understand them in detail. But once again, this is your Hitesh Palipala and welcome to Learning Telugu. Pronouns. Now, I want you guys to forget about Telugu for a while and think about English or any other language that you are native to. In any language, why do we use pronouns? What is their meaning? What are their examples? And what is their usage? Let us see one by one. First, let us see the meaning and examples. Pronouns are nothing but words like I, you, he, they, she, we, and it, etc. They are the words that refer to people or things. But what about their usage? Let us also see that. We use pronouns when we do not want to call people or objects by their names. And same meaning and usage of pronouns applies to Telugu as well. Fair enough, right? Now, let's move further. Types. So now we know the meaning and usage of pronouns. We should now know the types of pronouns present in Telugu. Not just Telugu, in any language, there are two types of pronouns present. Type 1 that we use for humans and type 2 that we use for things or objects. Let us see the examples of pronouns for humans. he, she, they, etc. Then what about things? Here are those examples. It, this, these, etc. But hold on, picture अभी बाकी है. The movie is not yet over. These two types are again further divided into three groups, and these are those three groups. Group 1, first person. Group 2, second person. And group 3, third person. But I believe by now you should be able to understand that each group is further divided into two subgroups, that is singular and plural, which means we will be having first person singular as one group, first person plural as second group. Same is the case with second person too. Second person singular, second person plural. Third person singular and third person plural. So this is the grammar structure of pronouns in Telugu. Not just Telugu, in any language, this would be the grammar structure. Let us now find out the Telugu words for each pronoun one by one in chronological order. Let us first start with human beings. The first pronoun that we are going to discuss about is I or I am. And of course, this falls under first person singular. Now, what could be the Telugu word for I or I am? Well, we get to know in just in time, but before that, I want you to learn about the definition of when to use I or I am. And here the definition. When we talk about ourselves or express ourselves, like our qualities or qualifications, or describe the actions we have done or going to do individually to others, then we say I or I am. I think you might be wondering why the need to learn definition. Believe me, friends, it does come handy. At present, you are not required to pay attention to the definition, but in future, this definition comes handy when you are using the Telugu word for I or I am. And that's why I want you to pay attention to definition that I give in every class right from the beginning. Maybe you should also write down by passing the video so that you will never forget and you will remember forever. Now let us see the Telugu word for I or I am. And the Telugu word is Nenu. 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 We translate I or I am as Nenu in Telugu. Let us see some examples using Nenu. నేను చేశాను, which means I did. నేను చేస్తాను, which means I will do. Now, this చేశాను and చేస్తాను are verb words or doing words, and in Telugu, verb words or doing words change their pronunciation or appearance according to the pronoun we use as well as tense we put them in. We will discuss about how to change the pronunciation or appearance of a word word and the grammar rules, everything in our coming class. But for the time being, just remember this sentence. If you wanted to say I did in Telugu, then you should say నేను చేశాను. And if you wanted to sound I will do, then you should say నేను చేస్తాను. I hope you understood. So let's move further. Now that we have learned about first person singular pronoun, and as per the chronological order, now we should learn first person plural pronoun, right? And we forms under first person plural. But wait, the sentence on the screen telling us that there are two words for we in Telugu, right? Yes, indeed, there are two words. First, let us see what are those words, and then we shall discuss about them in detail. The first word is manamu. What it is? Ma-na-mu. Manamu. And the second word is memu. Me-mu. Memu. But now comes the question. When should we use which word? When can we use manamu and when can we use memu? Let us see the usage one by one. Let us see first about manamu. We use manamu when we are talking to people or persons. Those are part of our group. Now, this part of the sentence is very important. When we are talking to the people or persons, those part of our group. Then What could be the explanation? Well, maybe I should tell you an example. Now, just imagine you and your friend had completed the project work a month ago. And suddenly today morning your friend comes to you and say, "Hey dude, I think we forgot to do one important task in the project that we supposed to complete. But you are pretty sure that you guys have done that." In that case, how would you reply? You would reply saying like, "No, my dear friend, don't panic," and we did, right? And the "we" in the sentence will be translated as "Manamu" in Telugu because you are replying to the person part of your group. You both have completed the project together, right? So you should translate that "we" as "Manamu" in Telugu. Here is the example. "Manamu చేశాము." See the sentence in the bracket. Telling to one of the people or persons part of our group. Then what about Nemo? The answer is very simple. It is quite opposite to Manam. Let us see the usage. We use Nemo when we describe the actions of our group to the people not part of our group. I hope you are getting it, right? Let us continue with the same example. Suppose instead of your friend, if your boss comes to you and inquires about the project, then how would you reply? You would say, "My dear boss, we did," right? And in that case, you should translate that "we" as "name" when replying to your boss because the boss is not part of your group. Let us see the example. మేము చేశాము. We did. మేము చేశాము. We use మేము telling to one of the persons or people not part of our group. Good. I hope it is clear with you, and if you are not yet clear, I request you to rewind the video and listen again. Listen until you understood. Let's move on. Now we have completed first person singular and first person plural. Now, as per the chronological order, we should now look at second person singular. And you is nothing but second person singular. But again, there are two words for you in Telugu. But no need to panic because those two are synonyms to each other, which means you could use either of them and gender neutral too. Let us see the examples. Not examples, translated words. The first word is nuvu, nuvu, nuvu. And the second word is neevu, neevu, neevu. Now, if you wanted to say you did in Telugu, then you should say నువ్వు చేశావు. Or you could also say నీవు చేశావు. Because both words are synonyms to each other. Now let us see the second person plural case. When we talk to more than one person or others, which means people older than us or strangers, or even to one person, but when we want to give ourselves respect, then we would use the below word. And what would be that word? Let us see. That word is miru, miru, miru. Let's see example as well. If you wanted to say you guys did, then you should say మీరు చేశారు. What would you say? You should say మీరు చేశారు. Further, let's move further. Now let us see the Telugu translated words for third person singular. And third person could be either he or she, right? That means either could be women or men, and there are respective Telugu words present for he and for she. Let us now first see about he. We say he as atadu, atadu, atadu. And when it comes to she, we say amen, amen, amen. Let us see some examples. If you wanted to say he did, then you should say atadu చేశాడు. And if you wanted to sound she did, then you should say ఆమె చేసింది. I hope you are getting it. But there is one important note I want to share with you. And the note is we also use tanu for third person singular case. And this is just like U general neutral. Now, instead of saying Ataru Chesadu, you could also say Tanu Chesadu. Same is the case with Ama Chesandi. You could say Tanu Chesindi. But I think you should be wondering, how can we know whether Tanu is he or she, right? But we will get to know about Tanu as he or she based upon the other aspects of the sentence. Let us think about Ataru Chesadu. If you replace Ataru with Tanu and say Chesadu, and because you are saying Chesadu, people will easily understand that you meant Tanu as he, which means Ataru. And if you say Tanu Chesindi, then you meant she did. Now, like I said before, Chesadu and Chesindi are word words, and we will learn the grammar rules of changing the word words in our coming classes. Now we know how to sound he and she in Telugu, but what about they? Let us see that too. The Telugu word for they is as below, which is also a general neutral. And the word is varu or valu. Varu or valu. Now, since I put or, it means you can use either of them. You can use either varu to represent they, or you can also use valu to represent they. But since you are beginning in learning Telugu, I suggest you to use varu, because using varu will help you to learn grammar rules in an easy way. So, for the time being, just remember varu. And that's the example for varu too. If you wanted to say they did, then you should say varu chesaru. Right? So, these are the pronouns that we use for humans. Now, let us see the pronouns that we use for things or objects. For things. What are the pronouns that we use for things in English? It, this, that, these, and those, right? Yes. And like in human pronouns, here too, pronouns of objects are divided into two cases, that is, singular case and plural case. Let us first see the singular case. Singular case. when there is only one thing that is in singular form and that too near to us, which means at arm's distance, then we should sound id for both it and this. We use single word for denoting both it and this, and that is id. And if the object is very far from us, then we should say adi for that. Id for this and it, and adi for that. These two words come under singular case. Let us now see the plural case. When there are many things that is in plural form and that too near to us, then we say ivi for these. And if the things are far from us or far to us, then we say avi. Right? Ivi for these and avi for those. Now, these are the words, Telugu words for denoting it, this, that, these, and those in Telugu. And with this, we have completed learning about pronouns in Telugu. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And if you did, I request you to give your feedback as comments, because your feedback not just encourages me but also gives me an idea on how to develop my further classes. So, if you have any feedback, just write it down. Not, don't bother, be it positive or negative. Just share your feedback. So, this is it, my friends, and I will come up with a new lesson very soon. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.